Carver Hawkeye Fieldhouse, University of Iowa, sold out as today the U.S. Olympic basketball team has come to play a team of NBA All-Stars. And we're just about set to go. The Olympians now to be introduced. To take a look at the U.S. Olympic team and the NBA All-Stars from the University of Iowa right after this. We're back as the U.S. Olympic team comes out onto the floor. There is a very strong possibility the starting five we see here today could be the starting five at Los Angeles. Coach Knight has been substituting at times in whole units, but not anymore. He's getting right down to his top people, and the Olympic team has some great ones out there.
Well, I think one of the most underrated ball players in the country, even though he's drafted number 4, Sam Perkins. They're going to find out in professional ball that Sam Perkins might be the best college ball player this year.
The NBA All-Stars come out. They're going to start Danny Ainge. Bill Walton will start at center. Clark Kellogg's coming out along with Buck Williams, and in the back line will be Ronnie Lester wearing the yellow uniform, his University of Iowa uniform with no number because that's been retired. Ewing, Vern Fleming, Sam Perkins, Wayman Tisdale, Michael Jordan starting for the U.S. Olympic team. NBA bringing the ball inbounds under international rules. Here's Ronnie Lester, who now plays for the Chicago Bulls, down low to Jordan. Ball slapped away. Vern Fleming knocked it free. Ewing comes up with it. Here comes Michael Jordan, who can play anywhere on the floor. From All-American, North Carolina, the College Player of the Year.
Pros have started out man-to-man, which you won't see much of this in the Olympics. Everything's zone. Wayman, son of a preacher man, starts off about 14 feet out.
Big Sooner from Oklahoma. Wayman Tisdale with the first points now down low. Lester goes in the air and gets the ball over to Ainge. Quickly out to Kellogg in a 3-second call, and that's something you see a lot in international rules basketball. We had expected to see Ralph Sampson here today. He was a no-show. And there was talk that Dominique Wilkins was going to be here, but there are great players here, and they have put in some very spirited practices getting ready for the U.S. Olympic team. As Coach Don Nelson of the NBA said, nothing would be better for the Olympians than to lose one. Here comes Ainge down the floor, looking for a lead pass to Lester. He draws a foul going to the hoop.
Bobby Knight says you can learn nothing from losing.
Foul on Michael Jordan. Takes probably 9 games. You can afford to lose only about one in the Olympics. That's the way it goes, Al. In the opening full round, you might be able to lose one and still make the 4 top teams in your 16 grouping.
The Olympics really break down to those last 3 ball games. Danny Ainge, 4 years he played baseball in Toronto. They told him, make up your mind, basketball or baseball. And he said the round ball. Has 3 children at the home in Pro Bowl.
And soon we'll have an NBA championship ring from the Celtics. Game now tied 2-2.
Here they go to his zones. 1-1-3. Ball comes to this side. Danny Ainge pops out the front, forms a 2-3 zone.
Outside to Fleming, he's been a real delight for the Olympic coaches. He's been a great one, they said, at the University of Georgia. A rebound contested for. And it comes back over to the NBA with 18:48 to play in the first half. We're playing 2 20-minute halves.
Big surprise out there is Fleming.
Bill Walton back in good health, says he can't go hard 7 days a week, but he can go 5 and hopes to put in 30 minutes today playing the pivot for the NBA.
One of his big attributes is knowledge of the game. Probably, I think it was 1976, 77 when they won the championship in Portland. Probably had the best year of any professional ball player in the history of the NBA.
Down low it goes to Walton. The double team against Ewing.
Baby foul.
Call a foul on Patrick Ewing. They say Ewing's really emerging as a team leader and fitting into the Bobby Knight offense and defense. It was very different from what he's used to under John Thompson at Georgetown. He has a different role here. But in the last week particularly, they say that Ewing has really started to look like the Patrick Ewing that's led Georgetown to the national championship.
You watch out there. Patrick Ewing doesn't look as big as he normally looks. It's because he doesn't have the T-shirt on. When he wears a T-shirt with the Hoyas, it makes him look like Mount Everest.
No T-shirts and no stashes.
No, that's right. Wood says, Coach Knight says no facial hair. So, kid from Fulton.
Way on Wood.
Shaved off his goatee.
Michael Jordan coming around. They say Jordan, listening to his offense and defense, might be the strongest leader on this Olympic team. He's really something. Down low, they try to go to Tisdale, and the NBA alertly comes up with the ball. The lead goes up to Danny Ainge after Buck Williams got it. Here's Ainge to the basket, trying to go off with Kellogg. And the ball comes back inbound to the NBA.
All-star games, Don, take a little while to get into sync.
And that big lane is another 19 feet wide at the baseline. College basketball, the lane is only 12 feet wide, and the NBA is 16 feet wide. Fan out from the free throw line from 12 feet to 19 feet 3/8 of an inch in international rules.
One of our problems is our monitors are out on the table here, so we cannot see the replays. And I know Mr. Harry Coyle has a great shot of Patrick Ewing, but we can't see it up here.
Ewing now has 2 fouls. Technical fouls are charged against a player. They can help put him out of the game. And right now, with the NBA leading 3-2 and 17:45 to play in the first half, there's a break in the action here at Carver Hawkeye Fieldhouse, and we'll be back right after this. Heading back to Georgetown for his senior year. The big pivot man, but they want him more to take fouls and play a different type of defense. At Georgetown, he was a rejecter and intimidator. Great team player, Al. He doesn't care whether he scores 5 or 50. He just wants to win.
He's outstanding ball player. I call him the best amateur ball player in the world. He plays a one-man zone for John Thompson.
So now it's a 4-2 game. NBA in the lead as the U.S. Olympians come down the court in their dark blue and red uniforms. Michael Jordan working in backcourt.
Coles went back to man-to-man.
Ewing coming out high. That quick Bobby Knight Indiana passing game. Pass, screen, and cut. Gets the high percentage shot. But again, Buck Williams comes up with the ball for the NBA. Quick lead to Kellogg going baseline, and Clark Kellogg puts it down, and the NBA opens up a 6-2 lead.
To find their men quicker. They're having problems picking up man-to-man. The pros are coming down court quickly, just like the international teams will.
In winning 3 earlier games, the NBA All-Stars have jumped out to early leads. Led by 14 last Sunday at Minneapolis. And the NBA came back to take a 1-point lead. And finally, the U.S. Olympians went ahead 94-90 at the final buzzer. Dwyer had an interesting observation. He said they were at their best when they got behind. They really showed their composure. They worked for the good shot and came right back in the game. They didn't panic at all.
Well, they're competitive. They're back into his zone now. I want to get the ball into Patrick. Beautiful block by Kellogg that time.
Bill Walton can still do it, although the ball was out of bounds. Last touch by Ainge or Walton, so it comes right back in now to the U.S. Olympians.
Watch Patrick and Big Red push and shove underneath them.
Perkins free at 6'9". Can't get the jumper to go. His teammate from Carolina, Michael Jordan, offensive rebounds. And a foul's called on Danny Ainge.
Too much indecision so far. They just can't get into the flow of things. This is one of the things I think that you cannot put a national team together in 6 weeks. It's very, very difficult. And Bobby will get the job done, but they still need another 3 or 4 weeks of work. Here comes the zone again.
Michael Jordan can't get it to go, and Kellogg leads the breakdown court for the NBA. Again, he leads to Danny Ainge. Here's Walton coming behind the field. Quickly down low to Buck Williams.
Beautiful.
You're right. Big Buck Williams from the University of Maryland and the New Jersey Nets.
I'll give Big Red credit there, Don. Red is one of the better passers in the history of basketball.
Not the player he was. When he was at his peak, he might have been the best player that ever played the game.
No, I wouldn't say that. Oscar Robertson, pound for pound, ounce for ounce. Then I go to, the Russells and Cook. I think maybe someday Larry Bird might get that distinction.
Foul call on Buck Williams down low. It's an 8-2 game. The NBA opening up a quick 6-point lead. We have 16 minutes to play in the first half. 2 20-minute halves.
Just moved in Chris Mullen to shoot from the outside against the zone. If there's a question mark on our Olympic team, it is their perimeter shooting. They only got 2 outstanding shooters out there, in my opinion. That would be Alfred, the freshman at Indiana, and Chris Mullen, who has the face of an altar boy, but when he makes his first shot, he lights the candle.
He'll be in shortly. He's in there right now. Chris Mullen on the playing floor. As Vern Fleming's at the free throw line. Fleming is a terrific all-around player. For the last 3 years, among all the guards in the Southeastern Conference, he was the #1 rebounder among the guards.
Yep, he's the only guy married out of Georgia. He was a 17th round draft choice, and if you get 2 fouls, you get 3 shots to make the 2. 17th pick, excuse me.
Mullen gets it over to Jordan, and Jordan going in the lane, goes up in the air and tries to dish it off to Ewing, and here comes the NBA. Ronnie Lester with the lead, coming down court to Danny Ainge.
Bobby Knight is ready to explode. Nice steal by Chris, good hands. Give it to the left, all the way, son, all the way.
3-on-2, and Michael Jordan is rejected by Buck Williams, but also fouled by him.
Outstanding D on Buck that time. Might have caught him with his hip. Watch this block. Now, we can't see it up here. An outstanding pass, but the block, and again, I cannot see it. Our monitors are out, but Buck Williams came from nowhere. I don't know if he caught him with a foul there. To me, looking at it without seeing it the second time, I don't think it was a foul. For the people that don't understand what we're talking about, when you do work on TV, we work from monitors. There's a monitor on one side of Don, there's a monitor on one side of me. And as we see the game, we can see the monitors in the replay. But for some reason, they popped out for a little while here. We'll get them fixed.
Right now, we have Jordan at the free throw line. He's led the U.S. Olympic team in scoring through the first 3 games, averaging about 14.5 points a game. Leaving North Carolina after his junior year, he'll go to the Chicago Bulls of the NBA.
Yeah, third person drafted behind Sam Bowie and hit from Elijah Wan. Elijah Wan is not an American citizen. That's why he did not try out for the Olympics. And I think Sam Bowie sat out for 2 years with that bad shin splint, and they didn't want to take a chance of getting hurt.
Another foul call. One of the things that particularly Dean Smith said an Olympic team has to be aware of and be ready for is the mystery 3-second call. That's a big lane, and sometimes it seems like they're going to the 1 count as soon as you put your foot in. A lot of quick 3-second calls. Vern Fleming goes for the steal from Ronnie Lester. NBA with a lot of motion in their offense, but the rebound comes down to Michael Jordan now. All 10 men run down the floor as the lead goes to Mullen, the sharpshooter, but Ainge is on him, and Michael Jordan goes to the basket, loops it over Walton, but not there. And now Fleming takes it in on Walton. He gets it down.
Walton's making them shoot out of their normal trajectory. That's why the ball's not going down. Michael Jordan had to put that ball about 3 stories high.
Big Bill moving well as Kellogg throws up the jump shot, and the rebound taken down. Concat in the game for the Olympic team.
Yeah, Concat kind of forced Big Red out of bounds that time, a little bit too physical.
Now Kelly Tripucka from Notre Dame and the Detroit Pistons comes in for the NBA.
Kelly's a free agent, hasn't signed yet, back with Detroit.
Interesting that the general manager of that team, Jack McCloskey, is here, though.
Well, that's his job.
I don't think they plan on seeing him go someplace else.
Good turnover. There we go. There we go. There's that rule.
They caught the NBA. That is the basic of international basketball. After a turnover, you don't have to hand it to the official to touch the ball. You can take it and go. The transitions are very quick, and the NBA now falls behind 9-8 to the Olympians. Vern Fleming with 5 points for the Olympic team. So a break in the action as the Olympic team rallies from an 8-2 deficit to take the lead, and we'll be back right after this. Don Nelson, an Iowa Hawkeye great as a collegiate, now the coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. Old Nelly.
He was thinking of retiring this year and just become general manager, but he says, I'm too young, so he's going to be back on the bench next year for the Milwaukee Bucks. He's a credit to basketball. He got the coach of the year before this in the NBA.
Larry Drew in the All-Star lineup and plays with Ronnie Lester.
Del Harris is assistant, and now the NBA putting the ball in play.
Hard man-to-man pressure defense.
Kelly Tripucka goes hard to the basket. And he'll go to the free throw line to shoot 2 shots. Coming up at halftime, Sports World Americana, a look at the Special Olympics. On the floor for the NBA now, we have Danny Ainge, Bill Walton, Kelly Tripucka at the free throw line, Buck Williams, and also out there,
Drew.
Drew has come in again to work in the backcourt with Danny Ainge.
Again, it's 3 to make 2.
So So it is now a 10-9 game. The NBA is in the lead. Michael Jordan finds nothing on the baseline as the NBA zones off the court at their defensive end. Perkins, a good passer at 6'9", goes low to Fleming, trying to move on Ainge.
Watch Big Red. He's playing a one-man zone underneath for the pros.
Going to count that one.
Yes. Got himself a crier.
At some of the top of the backcourt, it comes down for Chris Mullin. It's 11-10 game Olympic team. Ainge fires for the NBA and a whistle underneath.
Push here. Blue. Well, pushing and shoving underneath, especially with the new kid in there, contact.
Into the NBA All-Star lineup.
Bill Walton gets his first personal foul. Chris Mullin, Vern Fleming with the ball. John contact. Vern Fleming is in the back line with Michael Jordan. Sam Perkins down low for the U.S. Olympic
2-3 zone. He has to shoot.
Now, Mullin with that left-handed stroke finds the range, and the Olympic team takes its biggest lead, a three-point advantage, 13-10.
This is what the team's going to have to do in regular play because the Europeans have trouble bringing the ball up. The USA has to turn the opponent over. Almost play coast to coast.
30-second shot clock in international basketball. Fleming down the middle, tries to lead off quickly to Jordan down low. And a good defensive play. It comes back inbound to the Olympic team.
Vern Fleming penetrated a little bit too deep that time.
Neither team shooting that well early in the game.
Well, again, all-star games, the middle of the summer, it's hard to get the sync. That should be good. That's not his
Jordan
day.
can't get it to go.
You know, yesterday he left practice. Remember, we were sitting down there, Don. He said he didn't feel well, and he said to Coach Snyder to go in and lay down. So the coach said, well, raise your arm, because when North Carolina plays, when they get out of a game, they got to raise their arm. So Coach Knight said, well, go ahead inside. You can practice the rest of the day.
Here's contact. Banking one in. Big, strong pivot man, probably the best offensive pivot man on the Olympic team from SMU out of Kansas City, Missouri.
He's the best offensively. Patrick Ewing is the best defensively, and Joe Klein from Arkansas is more physical, rugged type of player.
Rabuka pulls up. And Buck Williams again hits the boards and kicks it out quickly, and here's Danny Ainge. Got a lid on it right now as the Olympic team runs. 3-on-3. Fleming with a lead pass down to Mullin going in. Can't get it down, and he's fouled by Buck Williams, so he goes to the free throw line. Fleming cracking the whip on the Olympic team fast break.
Excellent pass here. What happens with Chris Mullin, he keeps good body control. Good shot of the three-point play there. The ball just didn't drop in. Now he gets 3 to make 2. One of the leading free throw shooters in the country. He shoots about 89 and 90%. The best in the country's out in the court now, Steve Alford. I think he shoots 91% as a freshman last year. Freshman of the year in the Big Ten.
They ran 1-2 in foul shooting. Steve Alford of Indiana and Chris Mullin of St. John's. There he is, over 90%. Alford was number 1 in the NCAA with 91%. And now the Olympic team, which was down, you recall, 8-2, all of a sudden has started a run and has gone up in front 17-10.
One of Alfred's big assets is he gets the ball inside the bucket men, pivot men.
Rabuka coming out after the basketball. Olympic team doing a good job doubling up on the ball, pressuring the basketball. They'll be doing that right throughout the game, trying to keep the opposition out of its offense.
There's the scorer. This McGee can really score. Last year, Magic got down, was out for a few games. McGee come in and was averaging about 25, 30 points a game for the LA Lakers. Watch Sam push off here.
Blue ball. Yeah, I know.
See him push off there?
Right here.
Right arm, move Kelly Trapuka away.
Building is sold out here, but it's like a painting. Not much noise.
Well, in games like this, they don't know who to root for. If Lester's in there or Henson's in there from Iowa, they'll kind of perk up.
Alford, a freshman making the Olympic team. He'll be going into his sophomore year at Indiana. He gets a long cross-court pass to Mullin as the Olympic team stretches out the zone with long passes over it.
Watch that 30-second clock, Dan.
Vern Fleming can't get it down. Trapuka rebounds quickly out to Lewis Lloyd, and the NBA again comes down on the run. Duca fires out to Buck Williams, who heads baseline. Larry threw in the back line, and now it is 17-12 as the Olympic team will have a foul called.
What Bobby Knight likes about playing against the NBA All-Stars is that they're so good on one-to-one that they break down the Olympic ball player. What he's trying to teach is team defense, where you come over and help. And that's what one of his main jobs is with this club, is to get more team defense. You got to remember, all these fellows out here were stars on their college team.
Good defensive play by Tisdale of the Olympic team. He gets it out to Fleming, who quarterbacks this club. There is Mullen from over 20 feet. He hits a couple in a row now as the Olympic team extends its lead to 19-12. 8 points for Chris Mullen, so he's come off the bench to become the high scorer in the game.
No shot.
This is the Olympic coach from Canada. Foxcroft calls this foul. Calls on Alfred right there. Foxcroft, the referee, did the finals in Montreal when Dean Smith won the gold. Brought back the gold after we lost it in 72 to the USSR.
That takes some explaining, though. The U.S. didn't come away with the silver medal either because they refused it in 72. That infamous 3 seconds. Soviets got 2 cracks at it. I think an interesting thing, Al, about everybody talks about the games in basketball being diminished by the absence of the Soviets, but the record shows that in 76, when the U.S. won the Olympic gold medal in Montreal, the U.S. beat Yugoslavia. The Soviets won bronze. They didn't even make the gold game.
Well, even in Moscow last year, Don, what happened is that the Yugoslavia beat Italy for the gold, and USSR won the bronze in their home country, on their own turf.
And that was with the U.S. not there at all. The U.S. going into the games as the favorite as Alford throws up a jump shot.
Pushed off there, contact.
Hanging along with Bill Walton, and the call is against contact, so it comes inbound to the NBA.
Wayman Tisdale's having a problem because he's used to setting up on a low post closer to the basket. And with these wider 3-second lanes, he can't set up. It pushes, see how far out that line comes on the side there? That's 3.5 feet wider. So it's very difficult. He's used to getting in tight. But he'll adjust it. He's a well-adjusted young guy. I'm glad he's going back to Oklahoma. Sooner Boomer.
Great player.
Well, surprisingly, in the history of basketball, he's the only ball player to make All-American freshman and sophomore year.
Yeah, he'll be a junior at Oklahoma next year.
He's going into his junior year only. Billy Tubbs is the coach, and he's doing a great job. Came from Lamar. There's that 1-1-3, forms a 2-3 zone. Now either Alfred or Chris can get the shot. Let it go, Chris. Down to Alfred. Alfred has a little trouble shooting over the bigger guards. Chris will let it go. Should be 2. All she wrote.
They're really making that NBA zone run, too, with those long passes over the top as the Olympic team now has a 6-point lead, 21-15. Don Crickey with Al McGuire at the University of Iowa. Alford comes up with the ball. Leon Wood in the back line now for the Olympic team. As Mullen can't get it to go. Walton hits the defensive board. Here comes McGee up court for the NBA. Larry Drew pulling up, going out to Walton.
Nice pass. Excellent pass. The kid from Rutgers. They got some votes this year.
Roy Hinson.
Yeah, for the all-rookie team. Wasn't too well known in his senior year and during his career at Rutgers, but he's really blossomed in the NBA.
#1 draft choice for the Cleveland Cavaliers. It's now 21-17 game as Alford looks inside at Concact. Goes back outside to Leon Wood. Tisdale with the great turnaround jumper. Some great left-handers out there. And it's now 23-17. Walton throws it up and gets it down. He takes less shots nowadays. Still does that yeoman's work inside, though. Banging, pushing, always in position. They're not going to face a better one than him as the Olympic team inside. Who's the best big man internationally, Al?
Well, I like the fella originally Kachinko at the USSR, but he's gotten up there in age. But now the new fella there is outstanding.
Mullen has had the hot hand for the Olympic team as he now rips another one down. Chris Mullen with 12 points.
When I took a team to Brazil once, I went to a combination that drove the international people crazy. A box one. I think if you went to a box one here against Chris Mullen, that you'd give the USA a lot of problems.
Mullen with 12 points has now brought the Olympic team to a 25-19 lead.
On the 30-second clock, obviously, you got to take a shot before 30 seconds. Not like the NBA. The NBA, the ball has hit the rim of the backboard. International rules, that's to leave your hands. Now, every foul, after the 8th foul, the 2-shot foul, you get 3 shots.
We'll take a look at more of those rule changes later, but right now, back to live play. Clyde Drexler in the game for the NBA. McGee pulls up. And Hinson, following up on the offensive board, gets it down for the NBA, and they're back to within 4. Olympic team 25, NBA 21. Leon Wood with the ball, a great open floor player from Cal State at Fullerton. Looking low to Tisdale, but the NBA zone screens him off now. Walton just hanging under that basket.
They're going to try to get that ball into Tisdale low. Move down low, Tisdale. There's a pick by Klein. Got to get it up. Down about 4 or 5 seconds. Get it up.
Got it to the right side. Up in a hurry. 30-second shot clock. A couple of new players coming for the NBA. Bob Hansen from the University of Iowa comes in. Here's Clyde Drexler. And Hubbard also comes in. Phil Hubbard from the University of Michigan and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Leon Wood directing the offense now. First running on the bench goes to Chris Mullen. Directly to Bob Hansen, and he leads down court. And right to the basket. Great move is the glide from Houston. Clyde the glide Drexler.
He gave up his last year in college. If he stayed for one more year with the Cougars, he probably would have been on this Olympic team. There's the 2-3 zone again. Whoop.
Right to Walton. They're throwing it to the wrong colored jersey. And down the middle, the lead pass goes off to him. The feet off basket goes, and there's a foul call. The call's going to go on Hansen. They're going to count the goal. And here's an earlier play, the lead pass. We see Hansen coming down. Off to Drexler. A good look at Clyde Drexler, third man down on the break. And now again, a look at the last play.
He has no fear, Hansen. No fear. Plays for the Utah Jazz. Kept his eye up on the glass. Basket was good. He's still looking up there. The ref says, basket good. Charge it.
So a game is all tied up at 25 all. We have 6 minutes and 45 seconds to play in the first half. On NBC Sports World, this is the U.S. Olympic team versus a team of NBA All-Stars. Don Criqui with Al McGuire at the University of Iowa. Mullen, long range, can't get it down, and here comes the NBA. Drew leads off to Hubbard to the basket, and Klein follows, and it's going to come back into the NBA. High-pressure game. Both teams on the run. NBA well-conditioned still. They didn't lose it in a few weeks in the offseason.
Well, I think the thing that's helping this All-Star team, they got about 15 ball players, so they can catch their second wind anytime that they need a flow. The thing that surprises me is how hard and difficult it's playing against Big Red Walton. And plus, he plays very hard. He seems to enjoy every moment he's out there. You think after all these years that you get a little lackadaisical?
Patrick Ewing and Bill Walton.
Yep. They've been kind of pushing each other. If we could just keep the camera there for a moment. Looks like 2 pickpockets.
Big one. Those hands would be tough to get in your pocket. Walton led Portland to the NBA championship one year, and then the next year, some thought it was the best they'd ever seen a team play in the NBA when 50 of its first 60 games, then team the full record. He's never been the same player, but fortunately, he's gotten a lot of it back.
He'll never get to that level again, but even if he gets 80% back, he's still close to being an all-star in the NBA.
And Phil Hubbard's first 2 points put the NBA back in the lead.
Yeah. Now watch Walton after the basket. See, he got the hold. Turn Patrick around.
Back to live now. Ewing can't get the shot. Drexler rebounds, kicks it out. Down court with the ball and moving hard to the basket is Larry Drew, and there's a foul call as Alvin Robertson from Arkansas is in the game. And the call is going to go against the NBA and through.
Coach Knight a little bit upset there. There was only one pass down. It was a turnaround jump shot. Coach Knight likes a lot of movement on the offense. It's moving and passing and screening. And it's one of the things that the three big men, especially Patrick Ewing and Joe Klein, have to get down. You cannot run Coach Knight's offense without screening. It's a physical ball game. He's looking for a high percentage shot. He always figures if he gets a better percentage shot than you get, that you'll end up winning the ball game.
Both teams over the 8-foul limit, so the bonus shot is in effect. There'll be 3 chances to make 2 on shooting fouls. Elvin Robertson gets it down to give the NBA, ties up the NBA at 27 all at this point. Here's Walton out high.
Robinson is one of Bobby Knight's type of balls. Robinson, Klein, both are the same. The Razorbacks. The only school has 2. No, excuse me. North Carolina has 2 players representing 2. It's Sam and Michael.
But only one school has a player on the men's Olympic basketball team and the women's.
You got me.
University of Georgia, Vern Fleming and Teresa Edwards. A couple of the Duncan Dogs of Georgia. The women's team played before. Can they play? You talk about international basketball coming up. How about the level of women's play?
Well, I believe that the women have a better chance of winning the gold this year than the men do. And they got a tremendous break when the USSR dropped out. And they didn't want it that way, but that's...
Well, people were talking about the Red Chinese, People's Republic having a great women's team, and the U.S. women buried them by 30 and 40 points in a couple of exhibition games. Cheryl Miller from Southern California, the Women's Player of the Year.
As Robinson's on the outside now. His outside shot's a little questionable. Strip Patrick Ewing.
Down the court with the ball is Derek Harper. Out to Clyde Drexler. And Drexler hits the shot to give the NBA a 31-27 lead. This is the first time in the 4 games the NBA has been ahead in the first half.
Get it to Chris.
Time. NBA zone, Alice, forced them into outdistance shots. Even to Mullen, they've been awfully long. He's hit a lot, but they've been tight.
Well, the zone becomes powerful, Don. If you just listen to this, it becomes powerful because the 3-second lane is wider, and it becomes more powerful because of the 30-second clock. To attack a zone, you need patience. In college play in our country, when you go against the zone, I should tell my ball players, hey, if we average 75 points a game, we're only going to get 50, because against the zone, you need many passes. Patience is a slower type of ball game. That's why zones are so powerful inside international play, because of the 30-second clock. And when the pros put in the 24-second clock about 30 years ago, that's when they outlawed the zone. Does that make sense?
I got most of it. The quiz?
No, it's not a quiz. He gets 2 to make 3.
How about 3 to make 2? So with the score, NBA 31 and the Olympic team 27, and 4:55 left to play in the first half, the NBA in the white uniforms comes down the floor. NBA with a very good team effort. They've gotten a lot of good team basketball executed here, even though they've all come together, and some didn't even practice with the team. Buck Williams showed up this morning. Some were in Friday night, though. About 9 guys were here Friday night, went through 2 drills. They had an extensive drill yesterday.
Nice play by Patrick Ewing that time. Michael Jordan lost his man. Patrick Ewing helped out. Then Michael got the foul coming behind Drexler.
Got 2 for 1, guys.
Coach Knight said playing against the NBA has just been tremendous for the development of his players because of the skills of the NBA players, trying to defend against them and trying to work against them offensively. Drexler now has 6 points. He is the high scorer so far in the game for the NBA. Hubbard has come into the game now, and Hinson is also in for the NBA. NBA working with Derek Harper, Bob Hansen, Clyde Drexler, Larry Hinson, and Phil Hubbard.
Here's what's happening now.
Jeff
When
Brenner.
8 fouls are committed by a team, every shot becomes 2 for 1. If it's if it's not a shooting foul. If it's a shooting foul, every shot, you get 3 shots to make 2. So he gets another one. But that's because you have committed your 8 personal fouls. Now that retools again at the start of the second half.
So Elvin Robertson with a pair of free throws brings the Olympic team back to within 4 at 33-29 NBA with 4.5 minutes to go in the first half. Bob Hansen works off a pick. Jeff Turner from Vanderbilt's in the game for the U.S. Olympic team. Perkins is back in. There's been very free substitution in the game. Both teams keeping the heat up, running up and down an open floor game for the most part. Mullen dishes off, and Turner has no shot. Michael Jordan does. Bang.
He was due. He's been in the drought.
He has 4 points now. It's a 2-point game, NBA.
Watch how close Robinson plays on Drexler. Not Drexler, excuse me, on the kid from Illinois, number 12. Derek Harper.
Hubbard working hard off the offensive end, gets the rebound, goes back up and puts it down. And he'll go to the free throw line as we take a look at Michael Jordan.
Yeah, he bottoms this one out. If you take a shot from the wings of the corner, you go back down court. You protect back court. You do not go in for the rebound.
Bob Knight calls it the conversion game, switching from offense to defense. And most of the Olympic team's drills lately have been in the conversion area, the transition game, getting back because on a turnover, as we pointed out, the official does not have to touch the ball. The other team can grab it and go. That is really a big difference. You saw the NBA get burned early. The NBA standing tall right now with a 36-31 lead at 3:40 to play in the first half. Alvin Robertson from Arkansas throws one down from the outside for the U.S. Olympic team. He now has 6 points. Chris Mullen had that streak going. He reeled off a 12-point run. And he's the high scorer in the game. In the first exhibition game against the NBA at Providence, Mullen hit 16 points in the third quarter.
You better be careful, Harper. He's quick. Robinson is so quick. Reminds me of that guy who used to play at North Carolina, Dudley Bradley, or something like that. Outstanding defensive ball player. Remember the guy's name?
I went to Indiana.
Well,
there's some bumping.
Shooting Alvin Robertson.
Sam Perkins working inside as Alvin Robertson goes back to the free throw line. And now he can bring the Olympic team back to within 1 point.
Watch Robinson now go up right onto Harper.
Timeout is signaled as you see the numbers. The NBA All-Stars holding to a 2-point lead, 36-34. We'll be back at the University of Iowa right after this.
All right, now let's watch Robinson. He picks up real early. He's on Derek Harper. And if Derek Harper gets the ball, it's dangerous. There he is. Kellogg next to him. Michael Jordan's covering Kellogg. Chris Mullen covering Henson, taking the ball out of bounds. This is what the United States has to do more. In international play, if we have an advantage, it's when we can move the ball up court. Points in the paint. That shows the muscle. That shows maturity. That shows what European teams, because they're more mature, they muscle more. Push and shove. They dance with it.
You really think Italy's got a great team?
Italy, Spain got a good team. Brazil, Canada will give you a run for your money. Yugoslavia's getting old, and that's about it. That's all she wrote. Here's Robinson. He's a gambler, Liverpool gambler.
Goes to Hubbard. NBA, strictly a man defense, although it switches so much, sometimes it takes on the appearance of a zone. But Bobby Knight is a very devout zone man. He doesn't go our man-to-man defensive man, as Derek Harper fires long, and the rebound is slapped out of bounds by Michael Jordan. 36-34.
Bobby wants him to block out. Teach him to block out. Every shot, you block out your man. You help from the weak side. Recover. Break down, recover.
Quentin Daly in the game with the ball, number 9 for the NBA. That heading baseline.
Nice
pass.
pass.
Great pass by Daly to Buck Williams, coming off the weak side away from the ball. He goes to the basket, and that gets Coach Knight worked up as the NBA takes a 4-point lead again. They need some more of that Mullen left hand. You talk about Jordan when he goes in the air. Most players in trouble. He's at his best. Passing, shooting. He leaves the floor and makes great passes. Hansen pulls up, but can't get it to go, and the rebound on the foul call on it.
Watch here, Quentin's pass. The key is to pass. He catches Buck Williams free underneath. He readjusts in the air, gets the inside position, automatic.
Go, Mike.
Quentin Daly going to the free throw line for the NBA with 2:29 to play in the first half, and the NBA leading in the game 38-34. Tomorrow night, the Olympic team and the NBA stars head to the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis, where there could be upwards of 70,000 people.
Largest crowd to see a basketball game, I believe, in history.
15,500 here at Carver Hawkeye Fieldhouse at the University of Iowa. And that's all the building holds. It's been long sold out as Michael Jordan goes to the basket, getting the assists from his Carolina teammate Sam Perkins, and now the Olympic team is back to within 3.
Yeah, Dean Smith just smiled. Good play by Sam.
Sam Perkins knocked it away. Mullen goes to the basket. But Buck Williams comes up with a loose ball, so the steal by Perkins, no points result. They come back the other way with the NBA with the ball, and a foul call against Sam Perkins. See the sellout crowd. Interesting arena. Actually, it's below land surface level. It's carved out of the University of Iowa campus, and they'd say that's good for 2 reasons. It's easier to heat. There's no air conditioning needed. Well, it wouldn't hurt today.
Well, you better call up Boston Celtics. You know, the assistant coach is George Raveling, who's the head coach at Iowa. Kind of had a representative year last year. Not a great. I feel when a new coach comes into any conference, the first time he goes around the league, he gets baptized. And it's very difficult. So I think next year you'll see the true George Raveling, and you'll see Iowa more potent. He had a great recruiting year. He got one of the 5 or 6 best ball players in the country, a guy named Lorenzen, Al Lorenzen. He's from Iowa, the kid, too.
And they call the Vanilla Gorilla.
Yeah, he wrote a book, War on the Boards.
Yeah, Lorenzen. He's a terrific
I
guy.
thought you were calling George Vanilla.
No, they call Al Lorenzen the Vanilla Gorilla. They have Vanilla Gorilla T-shirts around. Apparently, he must be a great one. He's on a European tour now. Raveling is always... You know, he didn't have a great year the first year, but he's had a lot of great years at Washington State in the tough Pac-10.
Well, talk about Al Lorenzen. Outstanding shot by Sam just then. The hook that he made famous for 4 years down at Chapel Hill. But, you know, the best thing, as I said many times about a freshman, they become a sophomore.
And in the case of Albert, as a freshman, they become freshman All-Americans and All-Big Ten. Backcourt player from Indiana who plays for the Olympic team. Buck Williams, he goes hard to the basket, loses his footing, and there is another whistle called and a foul apparently on the Olympic team. 1:31 left to play in the first half.
Watch this sky hook. I call it a condor hook. He's elongated, if there's such a word. He stretches out. His arms are long, his legs are long. And I believe in the NBA, he is the pick of the whole college class.
Which one?
Sam Perkins. He'll prove out that he should have been the #1 draft.
You by yourself, Jeff.
He's going to Dallas. He's big Sam Perkins, and he comes down with a rebound off the missed free throw. Olympic team trailing by 3 with 1:25 left to play in the game in the first half.
Indiana has a tough time to this alternating defense. They're not adjusting quick enough with a 30-second clock.
Jordan can't get the shot to go, but the ball is slapped out, and teammate Alvin Robertson has it. NBA doing a good job doubling up on the ball, and there is Perkins coming off the play, heading right to the hoop and knocking it down to make it a 1-point game with 58 seconds to play in the half. NBA leading by 1 point as Ronnie Lester works in the backcourt.
Not going to get by Robinson, Lester.
Kellogg feeding low, and he goes to Hubbard, and the NBA working well, gets more points in the paint, something they've been doing throughout the game. That's been their strength. The Olympic team has demonstrated some great outside shooting, particularly the shooting of Chris Mullen. Hubbard now has 11 points to lead the NBA. He's got all of his inside. Kellogg goes for the steal. Perkins comes up with the ball, though, and goes right back outside to Robertson.
Free. Let it go, Michael.
Long range. Concat fight for the rebound. It comes down to Perkins, and now Perkins personally gives the Olympic team back to within 1, the 43-42 game.
He's a prime-time player. And I think he played in 45 NCAA games in his career, and every one he's averaged over double numbers. Scored double numbers every game.
Carl Lester.
Right, go down all the way. That's that rule again, all the way. No, they didn't beat
It beat the clock, but the NBA caught looking again as the Olympic team puts the ball in play very quickly on the transition. So through the first 20 minutes of play, the NBA All-Stars hold to a 1-point lead. It's a 43-42 game. For 50% so far. We have, as you see, the NBA hitting 46.4, and the Olympic team, the USA, the best in the U.S. with a under 46% field goal shooting in the first half. Now, the Olympic team started to come out a lot more, and the NBA has been rather consistent. It's kept the pressure on. It's gotten good inside play. The NBA with a distinct advantage in points in the paint, as you refer to it, points in the lane, which is an unusual looking lane in international rules. It fans out to 19 feet wide at the baseline of the court.
That's where the big men are having problems, especially the guys that are used to playing with the back towards the basket. Patrick Ewing, Wayman Tisdale. It doesn't hurt contact that much because he can more or less face the basket 10, 15 feet out. But even with Klein, they're having a hard job because they have to set up 2 or 3 feet out of their normal way of setting up. And it takes months to adjust to that.
This is interesting, Al, as we look at Don Nelson. Bobby Knight sending out a very small team as his units go to start the second half. He has really 4 guards in the game. Vern Fleming, Alvin Robertson, Michael Jordan, who can play back or front, Chris Mullen, who can do the same, and his center is 6'9" Sam Perkins.
Well, look for them to put pressure up court. Well, look for the All-Stars to get the ball into Big Red. There's no one out there that can match up with Big Red.
Big Red Walton, Bill Walton playing down low for the NBA as the Olympic team has the ball, trailing by 1 as we open the second half. 2 20-minute halves. Chris Mullen, who had that streak in the first half and finished with 12 points to lead all scorers.
Bobby Knight's Indiana offense is not slick. It's not smooth. They're doing it, but it's jerky. It's like static. No, Bobby Knight's the Olympic team, but I'm saying Bobby Knight's Indiana offense is put in here. It's not going smooth. It's going to take a couple more weeks before it goes like clockwork.
They call it the Indiana motion offense. A lot of passing, cutting, screening, and interchanging positions. It does take some time to get that implemented because it's a complex offense, but it sure works if we look at the record. Down low, following up with a shot is Hubbard of the NBA, and the NBA now takes the first points of the second half in a 45-42 lead. Duke in the game, laying down low along with Quentin Daly, Hubbard. Larry Drew going for the ball. The ball is slapped away from Fleming, picked up by Hubbard. Outlet pass goes to Rebuka. One-on-one. He is fouled by Chris Mullen before he can head to the basket.
Good foul. He saved the basket. Get the first 8 fouls. No penalty. Only the 2-shot foul. He takes a shot. You got to go take the 2 shots. But otherwise, a 1-shot foul you do not take after 8 foul shots. International rule.
The Olympic coaches taking a look at a different unit now with 4 smaller players and Sam Perkins in the game. Big pivot men on the bench. Now a turnover, and the ball is quickly inbounded by Mullen. Robertson to Jordan. The NBA has not given up the inside shot, or not very often in the U.S. Olympic team. And that shot is not good by Robertson, a backcourt player from Arkansas.
Called the foul on Hubbard. That'll be a 2-shot foul, so they'll take that. And that's 3 to make 2.
Big Red.
Big Red is truly playing a one-man zone. Turns around, takes up a lot of ground in boxing out. I thought the foul was on Red, but they called it on Hubbard.
There were a lot of innuendos and different speculations as what really went wrong with Walton's foot. I mean, you know, he said what really happened is over a series of years, he had a series of stress fractures in one bone, and finally he had a rather major fracture. And it took an operation that was really kind of experimental to get the foot back in shape. They used it on children with foot deformities, and they tried it on Bill Walton. It's held up so far. But he said it was either that or he had to retire altogether. But he can't go as long as he could at one time.
Again, Robinson picking up early, trying to create a turnover. Basketball is a turnover.
Your man Perkins, Al, has scored the last 7 USA points. As the Olympic team trails by 2, now they can tie it up. Here's a lead pass down towards Robertson to the basket against Rebuka. Protecting the ball, he goes in for the bank shot, and a tie game at 45.
Here's the pressure that Bobby Knight wants to put on up court.
30-second clock, so the Olympians trying to keep the NBA out of offense by pressing. Walton gets the lead from Trabuca, and the NBA takes a 2-point lead. It's 47-45.
Sky, Mike, go up. Nice pass.
One of the coaches, Don Danaher, says watching Jordan come out of nowhere says like a trapeze act when he goes to the basket. Right out of the rafters.
A mismatch underneath Michael Jordan.
With a good fake, puts Perkins up and then puts the shot down, and it's a 49-45 game. 6 points for Trabuca. Phil Hubbard leads the NBA with 13.
Bob is working the official a little bit. Might get hit with a tee soon. Different in international rules. If a coach gets hit with a technical, it's only a 1-shot foul. If a player gets hit with a technical, it's a 2-shot foul. Just the opposite from the NCAA.
Brings the U.S. Olympic team back to within 2. It's 49-47.
Watch him, Sky. This is God-given ability. Sky, man. There he goes.
As we talk about the trapeze act.
Bill likes to kind of lean on you. Hooks your arm a lot of times. You put your arm under his armpit, he'll hook it. Now, Bill's trying to create a foul there because it wouldn't go to take the shot. They haven't committed their 8 personal fouls yet.
They'll be back after this. Mr. Robert Montgomery Knight working over an official.
Well, they're both working that official. They're staying away from the other one. He has more experience, Mr. Foxcroft. He's from Canada. He's the one I told you worked the finals in Montreal in '76 when Dean won the gold, brought the gold back to us. But I expect to see a technical within the next 4 or 5 minutes.
Duca trying a lead bounce to Quentin Daly or to Larry Drew, who lost his footing at the baseline. The ball goes out of bounds. It's backing bounce now to the USA. Looking to tie the game. They're down by 2 early in the second half. Mullen, free shot. That's usually 2, but not quite enough there. And Walton, Sky, looks for the outlet. Goes to Daly. Trabuca on the right flank. Daly takes it the distance. And Perkins rebounds off to Roberts. And here's a 3-on-2 overman to Roberts. Bill Walton is one of the men back. And now this shot is taken down by Vern Fleming. And he puts it back up. And again, we have a tie game. 49-all.
I disagree with Coach Knight on the referees. I really feel that it should have a referee that does not speak English. Because that's going to happen so often in the Olympics.
I tell you, it might be a good thing in Coach Knight's behalf if he's got an official that doesn't understand English.
Yeah, well, Chris's shot comes off the board. Now watch Fleming. Watch the elbow. There's the elbow to protect. He puts the ball back and plays it off the glass. Well, but still the communications. Without communications, it's very, very difficult. And that's one of the problems in international play.
Bobby Knight did say one of the things that stood out in his past experience with international referees when they didn't speak English was how competent they were. They're very honored to be selected to work Olympic Games or Pan American Games.
Well, you know, they asked Michael Jordan, what's the difference between Bobby Knight and Dean Smith? And Michael Jordan said, well, they're both about the same coach. He said that their vocabulary's different. But I think he means that Dean Smith is more salty and more tugboatish. No, well, I'm only reaching.
Quick shot down, and Alvin Robertson now has scored 11 points for the Olympic team, and it's again a 51-51 game, tied up for the 7th time.
Nice pass, dynamite, wow.
And Trabuca on the payoff end.
Came from the strong side, went back door. Defense is looking good on the Olympic team. That's what Bobby Knight wants more than anything else. Team defense.
Trabuca with 8 points in the NBA with a 2-point lead, 53-51.
Put it up, Vern. That's it.
Nicely done. He backed Ainge in with the bump and put it up over him, and it's again tied up 53-all.
Underrated ball player, Vern Fleming.
Not anymore, though. He's really come to the attention. That's all the coaching talk.
Now watch Trabuca go back door here. They kick the ball into Big Red. Big Red just hits it to him back door. Tut-tut there, Chris Mullen. Don't turn your head. You used to play in zone. That's a wall sin basketball. You always protect that baseline. You never turn your head.
Michael Jordan looking to put it up. And down to Sam Perkins. Both North Carolinians. Jordan and Perkins have 4 personal fouls.
Watch the last play here. It's a good foul by Big Red. Sam gets the inside position, tries to foul him before he gets the shot, but they say he was in continuity of a shot, so he will get 3 to make 2. Unbelievable career.
Another thing, Alan, melding a team like this together is the excellent programs they all come from. That makes it a lot easier. It's not just great talent, but they talking about the great work habits they all have.
Well, what's hard, you're right, Don, to a point, but what's hard is that they were all stars, and you need role players. Now, everybody wants to be a chief. You got to have some Indians. Now, who's going to be the Indian? And you look out there, and you're looking at all first-round draft choices. You're looking at All-Americans. You're looking at teams that were in the NCAA. Chris Mullen. And it's pretty hard that they're used to when they play that they probably have the ball in their hands maybe 8 or 9 minutes of a game. See, a ball player should never have a ball in his hands. Now, people won't believe this, but they got to sit down with a computer to figure it out. That they should never have the ball in their hands more than 3 minutes and 45 seconds. No ball play.
In the whole course of the game.
In the whole course of the game. So I used to say I didn't care what a ball player did in the 3 minutes and 45 seconds he held the ball. I want to know what he did for the other 46 and a half minutes he did not have the ball.
Well, first of all, he hoped he got that much PT, playing time.
Yep. Drew just bottomed that one out. Come around the pick.
Drew with his first points now. It's a 57-55 game. The Olympic team holding to a 2-point lead. The lead's going back and forth. We've had 9 shots in this game, and now the rebound is taken down inside court by Alvin Robertson. And a foul is called.
Yeah, Kellogg fouled him.
We talked at the outset, Al, about the potential of this team. A lot of people in basketball, Lou Carnesecca of St. John's for one, says flatly this is the best group of basketball players any U.S. Olympic team's ever had. He predicts they're going to win gold, but you're not that optimistic.
Yeah, I like them to win gold. I wouldn't be more pleased than anything else if they come home with the gold, but it's not that easy. Very, very difficult.
Favorite going in?
They'll be. Oh, sure, they'll be a favorite. They're playing on their own turf.
Should they be?
Oh, sure, no doubt about it. But that's basketball's a funny game, and I just think that the outside shooting of this team is suspect against zones. You could take Mullen and you take Alfred out of there, and I just don't think they have enough time working out together.
You're going to see a lot of zone. There's no question about that.
And also that we haven't lost our ability. We haven't gotten any worse, but the rest of the world has gotten better. There's Lester. You know, Lester about 5 years ago was a senior at Iowa, and they were playing in the NCAA Final Four down in Indianapolis, and he got injured. I think Iowa had a real shot that time at winning the NCAA championship.
Michael Jordan off the lead from Alvin Robertson, almost banging his head on the rim.
Busting out. Nelly calls a good timeout. Wants to regroup.
Olympic team starting to roll now here as we move into the midsection of the second half with Michael Jordan on the payoff end. Here's the lead from Alvin Robertson. And Jordan with 12 points gives the U.S. Olympic team a 61-55 lead. The high point producer in the game so far is the man who assisted Michael Jordan right there, Alvin Robertson. He has 13 points to lead the Olympians. That is the groupings for the upcoming Olympic Games in Los Angeles in basketball.
What we got to worry about in our grouping would be Canada and Spain. The dynamite clubs in the other grouping are Italy, Yugoslavia, and Brazil.
France isn't bad either. China will come in with a 9-footer.
Average. Egypt, you and I, and 3 other guys could beat.
I guarantee you China will have the big. They got an 8-footer over there, don't they?
Oh, 8-footer. Can't walk and chew gum at the same time.
You just got to stand them out there, though. Hands up. It's going to cause trouble. You talked about Italy being good. Yugoslavia has been a gold medal game team for the last 2 Olympics.
Yeah,
they won in 80 at Moscow, but were beaten by the U.S. in 76 in Montreal.
They've gotten old. They haven't brought in enough young people. They're still good. They're standing. He's due to hit one. He's a streak shooter.
Ronnie Lester feeds off to Buck Williams. Good defensive play by Michael Jordan. We haven't seen Wayman Tisdale in quite a while, nor have we seen Patrick Ewing. Wayman Tisdale now in the game, but it's his first appearance of the second half. It's really about midway through the first half. Different combinations as Coach Knight tries to find the winning chemistry Michael Jordan coming from off to play, and Wayman Tisdale pulls his way inside the big man from Oklahoma. Makes it a 63-55 game Olympic team. Olympic team was down by 1 at the half.
Too much hands on Wayman. Coming around.
Bill Walton coming back in the game now for the NBA.
Now watch the NBA now make a run again. Surprising how one ball player can do it all.
You're talking about, go ahead.
I'm talking about Walton. He's unselfish. He knows what he's doing. He's knowledgeable of the game.
Complete team play.
You know, it's not like Larry Bird, and you give them the ball, and they'll create the action, and all of a sudden the whole team gets going. And very seldom is it the offensive scoring of that person. It's more the passing.
Patrick not thrilled by it all. Time flies when you're having fun. He isn't right now.
Oh, he'll get going.
He'd like to be in there.
He'll get going. He'll get his chance. I still believe that he's the greatest amateur basketball player in the world.
Got 2 more now. 2 more now.
Not a bad recommendation.
Well, that's my opinion. Now, when Walton come in, they were down 7. Let's see what happens.
Ronnie Lester's the only one in a different uniform because they ran out of uniforms. He's wearing a numberless University of Iowa uniform. This is where he played, and they retired his number when he graduated. He's the numberless man, a popular figure here in Iowa City.
He's out of Chicago.
Tremendous player. He's had some knee problems, a couple of knee operations. Right in the shadow of Kinnison Park. Tisdale can't get it to go, but there was a whistle before the shot with 12:25 left to play in the game, and the Olympic team leading the NBA 63-57.
Foul is on Trapuka. Walton raised his arm, but he did not commit the foul. Kelly Trapuka.
Mullen goes up and gets it over.
Chris, that was a tough shot.
Clark Kellogg, which is not easy to do, and it's a 65-57 game. 14 points now for Mullen. He's been quiet since midway in the first half when he ran off that string.
30-second clock has not come into the game at all. Kellogg pushed off. He pushed Fleming. There was a semi-type of alley-oop pass. Watch Mullen's shot. He gives a little baby left-hand hook. It looks like a Hail Mary shot. All net.
16 fouls on the NBA, 5 on the Olympic team.
There's the 30-second clock. You got to get the shot off before the 30 seconds. In the NBA, the ball has to hit the rim of the backboard before the 24 seconds.
Chris Mullen going to the basket, puts Walton in the air and draws a foul from Walton. He'll shoot 2.
He comes over. He didn't go down and try to block the ball. He came down and caught him on the wrist.
We got 3.
Right now, the Olympic team going with Chris Mullen at the free throw line. Vern Fleming, Michael Jordan, Calvin Robertson, and Wayman Tisdale.
Mullen the Magnificent. He plays forward most of the time, and every now and then they'll pop him back at the guard position.
Brooklyn, New York.
Free throws in Brooklyn.
Not many. NBA working with Buck Williams, Hubbard, Walton going down low for Hubbard's pass, Trapuka, and Lester. It's going to go back the other way.
What was the call? I don't know the call either.
Calling interfere with the ball. You can touch it once it hits the rim, but you can't when it's on the way down until it touches the rim.
I missed that one. I think Nelly's going to have to start working that guy a little bit. Nelly's the coach of the All-Star. Beautiful, beautiful. That's Robinson. Unbelievable.
Calvin Robertson.
Unbelievable talent. If he has a weakness, sometimes he penetrates too far and plays out of control. But he's a burglar. He puts action into any ball game. He's a credit to Eddie Sutton at Arkansas.
That's out of control. Keep on doing it, right?
Watch him go up. There he goes. Goes up
6-3.
and over Walton.
So the Olympic team down by 1.5 gets it cooking now in the second half and takes a 69-57 lead with 11:25 to play. The building sold out as the U.S. Olympic team, the best in the U.S. today in basketball, has come to Iowa City to play the NBA Stars The NBA team leading 43-42 at halftime, but now we see the disparity in points in the paint lessening. The NBA not getting as many, and the Olympians getting a lot more, and they've come back. The Olympians have to take a 12-point lead.
They've come back because Coach Knight has gone to a quicker team. He has an extremely quick team out there, really 3 guards, Robinson, Michael Jordan, and Vern Fleming. He has no centers in there at all.
Now he's got Tisdale, this big man in there right now, as Mullen saves the ball and starts up the other way for the Olympic team. Vern Fleming, a product of New York City basketball, goes down low to Michael.
Oh, almost. His hang time is frightening.
Well, you hear coaches talk about Michael Jordan. You can see how he's player of the year. They talk about his defense, his leadership.
His hang time there? At least
hang
2
time.
seconds.
Excellent hang time. It's something that leaves a player, doesn't it, that hang time? The older the golfer, the shorter the backswing. The older the ball player, the shorter the hang time.
All right, the All-Stars need a basket or they're going to end up going solo out there. There's no matchup for Walton. I don't know why they just don't post him down low and feed him the ball.
Drew heads hard to the basket, gets the shot down, but it's negated. They call him on a charge, and the ball turns over to the Olympic team.
You know, Patrick Ewing just hasn't really got into the sync of the offense yet, but he was the MVP last year in the NCAA, Big East Defensive Player of the Year the last 3 years, and in 1980, surprisingly, that young guy at a high school in Boston was invited to the Olympic tryout in 1980.
Buck Williams, who's back in the game for the NBA All-Stars, there was one of the 1980 Olympians who didn't go. Olympic team with a 71-57 lead after trailing by 1 at the half. And they've really gone to the lead with a much different lineup than they've shown so far.
Like the quickness, defense up court, create turnovers, get movement on the offense. In the zone now. 2-3 zone. Got to get it to Mullins.
Into Tisdale.
Double dribble! Get back!
Had him a dribbling violation.
Excuse me, Don. That was a 3-second ball. Very quickly. I believe. I could be wrong, but I think that's
Tisdale came down the floor holding the ball, but his team got set up on defense. That's another little international trick. Yeah, the NBA's getting back in a hurry. This Olympic team is ready to go as soon as they get the ball. Fleming and Robertson having good games in the backcourt. Lots of motion in the Olympic offense as Michael Jordan heads in, and again a whistle stops play.
The Olympic team needs more work on the offense. Coach Knight obviously realizes this. They're not getting into it quickly, and it's taking too long to get into the flow of it.
Turnovers a big difference there, and of course that's the result of not playing together, except for the last couple of days, and in some cases just coming in today. NBA case, they've turned the ball over 20 times, and that has been a factor as Jordan now has 15 points in the game for the Olympic team. Mullins the high scorer for the Olympians with 16. Alvin Robertson also has 15 for the Olympic team. Jeff Turner now comes in the ballgame. Big front man for Vanderbilt.
Now, we have not seen quite a while any of the 3 centers. Coach Knight has not put in contact, Patrick Ewing, or Joe Klein. He's going completely with quickness and having Tisdale play the pass. Coach Knight Coach Knight wants his guys to step in. They're stepping in. About a minute and a half ago, Michael Jordan stepped in. That's an awful valuable piece of property to take a charge. That's the way Coach Knight coaches, and you do what he says or you don't play. Simple as that.
It sure is as simple as that. That's the bottom line on it. A lot of players have had to change their whole offensive game. Ewing and Tisdale among them.
Here. He doesn't fool with politics. And I don't know. I don't care if you like or dislike Bobby Knight. You cannot knock his coaching game.
I guess in a job like that, Olympic coach, the toughest thing has to be those final cuts when there's such good ball players that have to be let go.
Oh yeah, Lancaster Gordon was a tough cut for him to make, and kept 2 of the kids as alternates. Kid from Duke.
Hansen lost the handle, but got it back outside to Drew. Now Hansen gets a 3 shots from 22 out. Rebound taken inside court by Alvin Robertson, maybe the MVP in this game for the Olympic team as he hits down low, goes to Fleming, rejected by Walton. But Fleming hits the deck hard. Yeah, the alternates, Person from Auburn, and the nice little backcourt player from Duke, Dawkins.
Johnny, he's a great player. Doesn't have all the size, maybe, that might have hurt him. Probably the most difficult cut got down to Lincoln.
2-1, 2-1.
The alternates, like the first runner-up. This America can't go, then they go in. Somebody has to get hurt or drop out. These Olympic players have been away a long time. They've been away, they will have been away a full 2 months since the trial started at Indiana University in mid-June, June 15th, and they go home August 11th.
August 11th to 12th. Making a tremendous sacrifice. Coach Knight makes a tremendous sacrifice. It's their love of basketball. Coach Knight is very patriotic. He has said that anyone that aided in the shot in defense of our country has done more than he's done for the United States.
Once that ball hits the rim, it's wide open play. You can slap it in or knock it away if you're defending. Hansen comes down as the game now.
Getting sloppy.
Wide open. With 8:30 to go and the Olympic team in the lead 74-59 after trailing at halftime by a single point, 43-42.
And again, we have not seen the three centers in the second half.
Big Bill has been pounding away since the outset inside. Mike McGee comes in. They're the two alternates, Johnny Dawkins and Chuck Person.
Person from Auburn and Dawkins is obviously from Duke. Should have an outstanding ball club this coming year.
Another tough cut, Al, was Barkley of Auburn, the Southeastern Conference Player of the Year.
Barkley didn't come in condition, Don.
Well, he always weighs 280. And has subsequently moved the ball much quicker and have taken a 74-59 lead after trailing by 1 at the half.
Well, before Coach Knight started the camp with 72 players, he said that he wanted 2 or 3 centers that would not have to be offensively oriented. He wanted them to be defensively oriented.
Larry Hinson in the game for the NBA comes up with the ball, gets it up court to Derek Harper, a former Illinois backcourt player. NBA going to some new people now. McGee is in the game. Here is Clyde Drexler going up and hitting the shot for the NBA to bring them back to within 13. 7:50 to go on NBC Sports World. The U.S. Olympic team with freshman Steve Alford from Indiana working in the backcourt. Also in the game is Leon Wood. Jeff Turner with the ball. Out to Wood, quickly to Vern Fleming, who's looking low to Tisdale, but they screen him off from the ball. Alford jump passing, and down low as Fleming does not get the roll. Saved inbounds.
Foul on Alford. Good foul. He saved 2 points down the other end. They have not committed their 8 fouls yet this second half.
Alford's had some run. He was the Indiana High School Player of the Year and the Freshman of the Year in the Big Ten. And now the Olympic team. He finishes his first year at Indiana, heading into his sophomore year. Rebound down to Tisdale. Lead goes down court. Leon Wood can't get to it, and Harper takes the ball back for the NBA. Drexler trying to go one-on-one with Tisdale. Rebound taken by Tisdale to Fleming, and he'll set the offense for the Olympic team.
Pros have gone into a playground-style game, doing their own thing. Nice move by the preacher man. Excellent.
Waylon Tisdale's dad is a Baptist minister in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and all the Tisdales, all the brothers are excellent students. One graduated from Yale because Reverend Tisdale has a rule: no marks, no basketball. That comes first.
Now they come up court. The referee did not have to touch the ball then. They missed the break.
6:25 to play in the game. Olympic team using the 30-second clock, winding the game clock out as they go baseline, and Alford. Steve Alford, the youngest Olympian.
Good assist by Vern Fleming. Wood has not had enough playing time today to get into the game. He's an excellent passer, likes to shake and bake down the middle. has the record for the most assists in 1 year in the NCAA. I think it's about 390.
Al, have you ever seen more talent on any past Olympic teams?
No, I think this is the most talent, but that doesn't impress me. I worry how you play as a team. And obviously, you need those big men in there eventually. They got to get into the offense and into the defense. But for this game here, they had to go with quickness to blow out the NBA club, which they are now doing.
Just as a scouting assessment, how would you think the overall performance has been of the Olympic team?
Hey, Big Bill.
Hello, Al. How are you?
What did you think inside there? Who gave you the most physical pressure of the Senate?
Well, Ewing is obviously the most talented. For some reason, he's not playing much today, but he's, very, very talented. One thing that, Coach Knight has really done, and his whole staff has got his team physically very, very ready to play. They're playing very big and very aggressively, which they're going to have to do to win in the Olympics.
Did you alternate the defense? It seemed to give them fits, but all of a sudden it looks like your club has just gone solo.
We're having a lot of trouble scoring right now, and it's our offense is not functioning smoothly. And
looks to me like contract time.
Well, there are a lot of free agents out here today, including myself.
Let me ask you something. Do you feel what percentage you're back to when you were at 1976, when I think you had the greatest year of any pro in the history of the NBA? What percentage do you think you're at?
Well, I don't really know, Al. I know one thing, I feel good. I don't really worry about my legs and feet anymore when I'm playing basketball. And the thing I really have to do now is just, get a lot more confidence from just playing more basketball. I've been playing, very regularly right now. I didn't get many opportunities to go to the hoop today, but it's a long summer and a long season next year, too.
Bill, what do you think of this Olympic team? How good do you think they are?
I think they're very, very good. They really know. They have great players up front. Tisdale, Ewing, I forget the guy from Carolina's name, Perkins. They're all excellent. And Michael Jordan.
I'm going to tell Sam that you forgot his name.
Who was the guy that dunked on me that time? And who was the guy that forgot to block out?
Rob Robinson went over your head. He was eating peanuts off your head. The kid's marking.
I didn't even see that guy. I was checking my man. All of a sudden, this other guy came over out of the roof and got a nice dunk on me there. But Michael Jordan looks spectacular out here. A lot of these players are going to be great NBA players in the future, and I picked them to win the gold medal this year in the Olympics.
Thank you, Bill. And I hope that leg comes along. You have 10 more years.
Thanks very much, Al, and you too, Don.
Okay, Bill. Bill Walton of the NBA team, as it's now an 80-65 game, the Olympic team in the lead with 4:59 to play.
There's the ball player. 7th round draft choice. Kind of soft shooting from outside, but every other part of the game he has. Robinson from Arkansas. There he is. He has the ball now. Kicks it over to Alfred. Alfred has a little trouble with big guards because he's not that tall shooting over them.
Fill it up, though. Shot 58% from the field as a freshman. 91% from the free throw line to lead the nation.
His father's a high school coach. They say that he took 500 foul shots a day. I don't know if that's true or not. But
well, I was watching him yesterday. He could turn the lights out and go home, but he still makes it. Everyone exactly. He doesn't even the guy feed the ball back to him. It comes back on the rotation, bounces back to him. Shoots it kind of from the side of his head.
Starting to get better movement. Moving down, screening down low. Give the ball, move away. See Robinson move away, screen down. More movement on the weak side of the court. I'd like to get Wood to get a chance to do his thing. I told you he couldn't shoot from the outside. He's 2 from 2 from the outside. He made one from the first half, too.
Alvin Robertson, in the earlier games, the coaches had him rated as a player who was making some great assists, but also was turning the ball over a lot. His stock really went up today. Our statistician, Danny Green, pointing out he has scored 17 points now to lead all scorers for the U.S. Olympic team. Michael Jordan has 16. Chris Mullen has 16. Vern Fleming has scored 12. NBA high point man Phil Hubbard with 15. Live action. The NBA gets a hoop from Derek Harper. Back at the NBA U.S. Olympic team basketball game on NBC Sports World. Don Crickey with Al McGuire as the Olympic team moving the ball quickly, holding to an 84-69 lead after playing at halftime with 3.5 minutes to go.
This is the first time in the second half, 3 or 4 times, they started to run the offense of Indiana the way it should be run. Now, obviously, they have not played the 3 centers. The three centers have not been in the second half. Patrick Ewing, again, in my opinion, the greatest amateur basketball player in the world. Joe Klein, physically tough, and Kincaid, who from SMU, who that club will be in the top 10 next year. They have not been put back in the ballgame. He wanted more speed. They were losing by 1 point at halftime. They come out and they have blown the All-Stars out. They have a 15-point lead right now. There's Patrick, and he'll be there. He's hesitant in the offensive moves, I guess. And if we get a chance after the game, if I get a chance to speak to Coach Knight, I'll ask him why he sat out the three centers that long.
Well, the end result is what he wanted. He got the point production up as he opened the game up, and now they continue with the speed as Leon Wood whips it up court.
Coach Knight will probably say, mind your own business. You'll be right. Come on, Wood, bottom one out, baby.
They go to the rim. And
Watch this kid go up against. Good up, kid.
He won't get it up, but he will go to the free throw line.
He's exciting. Robinson's exciting. The only problem that Robinson has is that when he gets into this uncontrolled up and down, he turns the ball over too many times. And that's the one thing that Coach Knight has tried to stop, if possible. That's a good foul. He didn't hurt the guy, and he saved a possible three-point play. Now he has 3 to make 2, but you only got 5 seconds to take each shot. In the NCAA rules, you got 10 seconds to take each foul.
Sometimes they don't put that in effect very tightly, but in the Olympic game they do. In the international rules, you have to get the free throw off in 5 seconds after getting the ball back.
And the same way, in Olympic rules, you're only allowed 2 timeouts a half. The only people that call a timeout is a coach. A ball player cannot call a timeout. Nice move by McGee.
They're still digging hard going for the basketball. It turns over to the Olympic team as Paducah comes back in the game now for the NBA, replacing Michael McGee. Buck Williams, Bill Walton for Paducah, Clark Kellogg, and Quentin Daly in for the NBA.
Trying to pinch up high. They're spreading out now. They get a layup off this, probably. Jeff Turner.
Here comes Daly, a great open floor player, too, heading right to the basket. Did you coach that?
I try not to, but that's born. You know, that's God-given. I just think that basketball team concept game, I just hope that Coach Knight has enough time to make a team out of the Olympic ball players.
2:10 to go. 84-72 Olympic team in the lead as Daly comes back down again. This one he can't get to go. Tisdale slaps around, and Daly is up with a loose ball, and Paducah shoots 16. NBA is going to keep on trying to get it right. Can't get the follow-up shot.
Buck got the rebound that time. He's fouled by Robinson. Again, it'll be 3 for 2. Calling the timeout.
Foul was called on Alvin Robertson. Timeout. All set.
I thought for a while that this would be a close game, but Coach Knight changed his strategy, took his centers out, did not see action the second half.
With 2 minutes to play, the U.S. Olympic team holds to an 84-72 lead over the NBA. Don Criqui with Al McGuire at the University of Iowa, where Buck Williams, University of Maryland fame, now an all-star player for the New Jersey Nets, is at the free throw line. Olympic team with a smaller lineup, running the ball and working the full court game, breaking open in the second half to take the big lead. After trailing at halftime, now the Olympic team gets the ball again. Here comes Leon Wood. He can really fire out.
What's the most important thing in basketball? I'll take no time. Quickness is the most important thing. That's what Coach Knight did in the second half. He went to quickness. Nice. Uh-oh, you almost missed the dunk. Wait a minute.
Got a friendly roll off the rim now, and it's an 86-72 game. Tisdale with 12.
Oh, nice pass. Nice pass. No, 18.
Clark Kellogg going inside, and he is fouled on the play.
He almost misses this dunk. He catches the back rim. There's another angle on it. Nice pass off by Robinson.
Clark Kellogg shooting.
Good second look. Our producer today for NBC Sports is Ken Edmondson. Our director, Harry Coyle, as Clark Kellogg.
Premier small forward in the league.
Boy, that's small, though. He's a big guy, Clark.
Well, that's small for the league.
Great high school player out of Cleveland. Went to Ohio State. Consensus All-American there. Now the Indiana Pacers.
He's only 6'7", and I thought one of his problems at Ohio State, he wanted to be a guard. I thought he started off a little bit like a hot dog, but he came around the last couple of years.
He's been a good pro, too.
Yeah, he's been excellent. Yeah. Here's a 1-3-1 trap. Spreading out. Guards are spread out. You have a 30-second clock, remember. Danny reached in.
Well, the centers will be hoping to get some work tomorrow night, Al, when they go to the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis, where some 70,000 people in the state where basketball is king.
One last. One more. Here we go.
Right now, Al McGuire heading off to check out Coach Bobby Knight on the Indiana bench with 1:05 left to play. Time permitting, we'll be talking to Bobby Knight as Bill Walton gets a free shot and strokes it through. But it's too little too late now, as the Olympic team is going to win its 4th consecutive exhibition game. As with 50 seconds left to play, they lead the NBA 88-75. Jeff Turner going down to the basket. Gets points for the Olympians. The best in the U.S. in the blue uniforms, gearing up and heading to Los Angeles. Rapuka gets it down, and he'll go to the free throw line. Foul was on Alvin Robertson. Rapuka shooting for his 11th point of the game.
Field goal good by Kelly Rapuka. The foul called on Alvin Robertson.
Rapuka is really basketball Jones. He plays virtually every night of the week in a Jersey Shore Summer League with top pro and college players. Played the game Friday night. He was in here Saturday morning. About 50 a game in that league. Calvin Murphy, the former Houston Rocket great. Somebody asked him the other day what he's doing now. He says, I'm playing in a Y League, averaging 90 a game. We have 26 seconds left to play as the Olympic team holds to a 90-78 lead. Looking at the point totals for the Olympic team, the high man in the game, Alvin Robertson in the backcourt out of Arkansas with 17 points. Chris Mullen, who had that 12-point streak in the first half, has 16 points so far. Michael Jordan with 16, Vern Fleming with 12. Alford has 2. Pat Ewing did not score. Joe Klein did not score. And John Konkek, the other center, had but 2 points. So from the pivot, the Olympic team got a total of but 2 points. Tisdale hit for 12. Turner and Wood each had 2 for the Olympians. Rapuka going to the basket, rejected by Wayman Tisdale. And here comes Leon Wood. Heading down, Alvin Robertson feeds off, and Alford loses the handle baseline. And so the final seconds now as Ainge fires one up. With 2 seconds left, the ball's going to come back inbounds to the NBA. And a foul is called before the final buzzer with 1 second left. So the inevitable is delayed a bit longer. Now let's go over to Al McGuire.
Coach, were you pleased with tonight's game, the second half?
Well, I thought in the second half that we did a pretty good job. I think that you talked to us at the half about some of the adjustments that you thought we should make.
Come on, leave me alone, Bob. Bob, why did you get more quickness in, Bob?
Well, I thought we had better movement, and I thought we tried to play with a lineup that gave us more movement at both ends of the court, and I think we got kind of what we wanted offensively. I didn't think our offense had much flow to it in the first half.
How about the big men keeping them out, Bob?
Well, I think that...
Just didn't get it done?
No, I think that we just got done what we wanted to with the guys that played in the second half.
Hey, I really hope you win the Olympics, Bob. I really do.
Plus, you steak dinner.
I really hope you win. Congratulations.
Thanks, Al.
Thank you, and back to you, Don.
All right, Al, and there are the final numbers on the board now. The Olympic team winning for 4th straight exhibition game, playing very impressively with that shorter group in the second half, winning 92-79. We'll be back at the University of Iowa in a moment.